I think in a nutshell, we just kind of crushed the Transpac record, and that's always the goal, you know. That's not to sound cocky, but that's what this boat was made to do. And the boat is special, and the crew is special, and the ownership put this whole special package together. So, you know, it's kind of our job to do this type of stuff, and it all worked to plan better than we ever could have imagined.
So Ken, when you guys set off, we realized that there was kind of a slim chance of breaking the record. You were actually setting off on the Transpac, not thinking maybe you were going to break the record. What was that decision-making process like?
It was definitely nip and tuck. All the files, the weather files we had pre-Transpac were close. They all said it's just going to be really close. We had to sail well. But what we didn't expect is we moded the boat very differently for this race. We're sailing it in a configuration that it's never been sailed in before. A couple new sails, really minimal crew, and the boat lit up. We were 5 to 7% faster than we had ever been downwind and reaching. And then the weather cooperated. You know, we had more breeze than we thought we would have. And, you know, the combination of the two meant just let the boat do its thing. Honestly, just let the boat do its thing, and it'll succeed. And that's what we did.
At what point in time did you guys go, you know what, we've got a really good chance at this?
Well, I would say about halfway through the race, we had a pretty good idea that, you know, it's up to us to screw this up. As the person in charge, my biggest fear in life is hitting something. And we hear that Rio had the incredible hardship of breaking a rudder off. You hear of all kinds of stuff that people are seeing all over the ocean. We saw nets, we saw crates. So that, to me, is always in the back of your mind. So you're laying in your bunk, you don't really sleep very much because you're always thinking, oh, please don't hit anything. And because it's Russian roulette. I mean, there's nothing you can do. You're going at the speeds, you can never see it fast enough to get out of the way. So we were lucky, you know, in that respect we were lucky. And yeah, you have to have everything kind of come together to do something like this, and it certainly did.
So you and Comanche and your whole crew have just joined a select few people and boats in Transpac history. Tell us, how does that feel? Well,
you know, being the record breaker in the Transpac race, this is one of the races, this is one of the boxes we had to tick when we built this boat. And then it gives you an idea. Neville Crichton was the first person to call. We finished the race. I talked to Jim Clark, and then 2 minutes later, Neville Crichton called to congratulate us. So shows you a lot about the sport and the type of people that we have in the sport. That you know, there's some incredible kinship, camaraderie, and you know, people like to beat each other at the same time. But that was really a class act by Neville.
Super. Anything you want to add?
Well, you listen, it's nice to be to Hawaii, but when you get to sail a boat like this is special. This is an honor. This is yeah, this is something that none of us take lightly. We know how privileged we are to sail on this boat, and you know, it's up to us, like I said before, just don't screw it up, let the boat do its thing, and this crew is entirely capable of just letting the boat do its thing and then some.
When I was a child, I was dreaming, following the race, and it was a Whizbread at this time, and all the famous skipper, and they were my hero, and now I am here, and I'm very proud of that. And it's a big challenge, personal challenge, and you're not the same man before and after this race.
I hurt myself today to see if I still feel. I focus on the pain, the only thing that's real.
This race is an emotional roller coaster. There's highs and lows, and people do turn to you, so it's important not to get too excited when things go well and not to get too down when they don't. It's a long race, and lots of things will happen in that time. People will come and go, people will be sick and recover. It's 9 months or 8 months is a long time, but you have to maintain consistency and maintain focus for the whole of that period. This is the part that is all about winning.
Welcome to the Nautical Club of Thessaloniki. Καλώς ήρθατε στο ναυτικό όμιλο Θεσσαλονίκης.
The 470 World Championships is hosted at the Nautical Club of Thessaloniki, an historical club in Greece.
We are sitting in the 11th position, and 3 races are scheduled for the day. So we will do our best to get into the medal race.
On the penultimate day, it was all about making the top 10 cut to the medal race, and the breeze kicked in to shuffle things up. The aim was to consolidate and upgrade leaderboard places for a shot at the podium. Windy weather and medal race pressure guaranteed an escalation in battles. Sweden's Dahlberg and Bergström held firm at the top, chased by Aussies Belcher and Ryan, with just 1 point separation going into the medal race.
3 races today, tough. We managed to come out okay. Tomorrow medal race will be basically match racing against the Aussies. Really fun, looking forward to it, and yeah, we're gonna give it all.
In the women's, Poland is guaranteed a gold or silver medal. Also in the fight are Great Britain's Mills and McIntyre. Slovenia's Mrak and Makarol are hunting down silver and bronze against the world #1 pair of Zegers and Van Veen. So the stage is set for a thrilling medal race and podium decider. Stay tuned.
Well, it's that time of year again. We're at North Sails. We're with Michael Coxon, who is the CEO of North Sails in Australia. In Sydney, Michael, it's the summer approaching. It's time to talk sailing again and what's going to happen. And big news today, Comanche.
Yeah.
Tell us all about what's happened on the Transpac.
Well, thanks, Geoff. Thanks for having me on board again. I've only just heard the news that Comanche has smashed the Alfa Romeo Transpac record, which is close to my heart because in 2009 I was with Neville Crichton when we broke that record, and which had been standing for a long time. So congratulations to Comanche, who have done a fantastic job. I believe they beat it by quite a few hours. So,
half a day.
Yeah, fantastic effort, and which is probably not. It's probably understandable because Comanche is a downwind flyer, downwind specialised boat. I know when we did it, Neville went to a lot of trouble. He put a lighter rig in the boat. He put a smaller bulb on. He did a lot to optimise the Rykel Pew to be a downwind boat, which that is a downwind race, which leads us into Alfa, who was sold. Neville sold her in 2009 after we won the Transpac and then went on to win the Hobart. He then sold it over to Europe, where I think it was sailed as Asimit, and it's just been bought back by Peter Harbug of Black Jack fame, based in Brisbane. And Peter, who has the Volvo 70, the people would know the Volvo 70 is famous with the name Black Jack, has now bought the 100-footer, which was Alfa Romeo. So that's actually in the McConaughey shed at the moment, and is being having a bit of tickle up and a bit of refitting, and will be out on the water in the next 2 weeks, hopefully in time for the Gold Coast race.
Well, what are you on in the Brisbane race?
On the Gold Coast race, I'm on Maserati, the Volvo 70 with Jim Cooney and his family, and then the Kepple race, and then I'm going up to Hamilton Island to sail on Wild Oasts 100, which will be quite interesting because there'll be both the Wild Oates boats, both the 66 and the 100 will be at Hamilton Island this year. Prince Frederick from Denmark is chartering the 66, and we'll have a number of the Wild Oats crews. So Ian Murray's moving over to the 66, and I'll be hopping on the 100.
So you're also big into the Etchels. So you've had the Mooloolaba series? Yeah,
I've been sailing Etchels for longer than I like to remember. Since 1982, I started racing Etchels with Dave Forbes, one of Australia's greatest yachtsmen, gold medalist. And but we had the midwinters on last month up at Mooloolaba, and another great turnout. I believe that's the best regatta for Etchels in Australia, in the Southern Hemisphere. Every year we had 39 boats. North Sails were a sponsor of it. We always donate a jib and to the regatta, and also other bits and pieces to help with the running of the regatta. And it was won by the current Australian champion, GT Graham Taylor, James Mayo and Mothi Jarvan, who are doing their warm-up for going to the Worlds in San Francisco. So we've got a couple of pretty good boats going from Australia, being GT, and also we've got Ian Murray going over to that regatta. And I was out sailing with Ian yesterday. He's just returned from the America's Cup, in his role there as the race director, and now he's focusing on his own sailing, so he's quite excited about, as he said, I've got nothing else to do and I'm unemployed at the moment. I think their third person is either going to be Ewan McNichol or Grant Simmer, who's also just finished at the America's Cup.
He was heavily with the Defender, wasn't he?
He's been running the Oracle team for a number of years and was successful.
Any news on that? Are they going to get going again, or?
I only hear talking to people like Ian, and my understanding is that Oracle may not continue. I don't have any insight to that. Everyone's asking the questions, what's it going to be, multi-hulls or mono-hulls? And
TP52s?
No, I don't think it'll be TP52s. I've heard it's either multi-hulls or around an 80 to 90 foot canting kill monohull, but it's only gossip, it's only rumour. Neville Crichton thinks it might go that direction. Ian Murray thinks it might stay with multi-hulls. I don't know. There's a lot of speculation. Sure.
On July 12, the Sun returned to day 3 of the Panerai British Classic Week, where the fleets completed race 5 of the series. Not only had the Sun reappeared, but the wind had moderated too, and racing took place in a much more manageable, if not shifty, northerly breeze of 10 to 15 knots. After the strong winds of the last 2 days, the chance to shed oilskins and soak up the sun and enjoy the scenery was much enjoyed by everyone. Class 3 continues to be the most closely fought of the regatta. Today, Michael Briggs Mikado beat second place Celeste, owned by Jonathan and Scylla Dyke. Celeste, in turn, beat third place Laughing Gull, owned by Barney Sanderman. Andrew Pearson's Vojar finally managed to beat the stranglehold of Giovanni Belgrano's Whopper in Class 2, beating her into second place by a minute and a half. In the 8 metres, it initially appeared that Murdoch McKill of Saskia had won the race 5 from the Earl of Cork and Orre's David Pearson's Athena, with Christopher Courage's Helen third. However, on returning ashore, Saskia elected to retire following an on-the-water incident, so the race went to Athena with Helen second. Despite her retirement, Saskia continues to lead the regatta, but her delta is reduced to a single point. Both Helen and Athena count 10 points, so it's clear that class is going down to the wire as we go into the final 2 days of the regatta.
She may contain the urge to run away, but hold her down with soggy clothes and breeze blocks. Cetirizine, your fevers greet me again. Never kisses, or do you ever send off holes?
I'm really happy to win so far the single elimination. We had really good conditions from the very first day.
And yeah, happy to be back in second position with her. It's really hard to beat her here in this spot, but yeah, I'm stoked to be here with her.
The level of the girls has been really up in the air. It's been really good.
Sarakita been pushing really hard, and also Lina and all the girls are really motivated because they're catching up with us, and I think it's extra motivation. And I'm happy to see that because a great level in the water, and stoked to see how many girls are pushing the limits.
I don't think there's an actual secret of the Moreno twins why we're winning all the time here, or first, second, first. I think the only secret is being out in the water, train as hard as you can, especially in this spot, which is a different spot than the rest.
Yeah, I don't think people is tired to see us winning, but for sure they're kind of used to see us winning, and at the end it's not like the big news.
We've been here pretty much 20 years sailing almost every day, especially in summer. The wind is really strong, you have to get used to this.
We're training really hard and we're always really motivated in the water, learning every moves, and it's part of the game, and it's great. It's a good feeling to win in your home spot.
We are really proud that the youngest sailors see us as a reference, not only the girls, also the boys.
This year, for the first time, we have 7 girls juniors, and I'm really happy because the future of the sports, when we first started, we were the only young girls there, and all the older girls retire. At the end, we saw kind of ourselves alone on tour, and now I see a big future behind and a lot of girls competing in the junior division, and it's great to see that.
A lot of people ask us when we're gonna be retiring from the world tour. The only thing I can say, we're almost 40 years old. We've been on tour 20 years, and I feel like I still have many years to go.
I think as long as we get the help from our sponsors, we're going to continue on the top and at least try, because what we love. And I'm also combining the windsurfing with the stand-up tour, and it's been great years for me, and I'm really motivated to do both sports, and happy to be sharing my last years of professional athlete with the 2 sports at the same time.
I'm actually a physiotherapist. I have my future settled with the physio, but I love windsurfing, and I don't think I can live without windsurfing anymore for the rest of my life.
I love you so, I love you so, I love you. Please don't go, you so, don't go.
Last Wednesday at 2:30 in the morning, this boat, Black Jack 100, formerly Asimit and also Alfa Romeo, winner of the 2009 Rolex Sydney Hobart Yacht Race with Neville Crichton on board, arrived at Sydney City Marina in the new guise of Black Jack 100, owned by Peter Harbug of Queensland. Their schedule will be the start of the Brisbane Gold Coast race at the end of July, then up to Hamilton Island, and then at the end of the year, the Rolex Sydney Hobart Yacht Race, where it will go against its arch enemy, Wild Oasts XI. This year's Rolex Sydney Hobart Yacht Race will be a big one, with lots of maxi yachts plus other smaller ones beating their way to Hobart. Be watching the World on Water TV. We'll have it all.